From a humble bakery in Thika started by two brothers in 1958 to a household staple across the country, Broadways has fed generations and built a dream empire. But behind the golden crust lies a story baked with more than just flour and yeast. Imagine this: you grab a loaf off the shelf, but there's nothing to tell you when it was baked or how much you're getting. That's not just a consumer slip-up, it's a regulatory red flag.
Competition Authority of Kenya has ordered bread manufacturers to print the weight, expiry date and fortification ingredients on wrappers after investigations found that consumers had been misled and denied crucial information.
And it wasn't just labeling. Critics pointed fingers at their packaging practices too, sparking debates. Controversy alone doesn't tell the whole story. How did a small bakery become a multi-billion shilling brand? And what secrets, good or bad, has been passed down through generations of this family-run empire? This is the story of Broadways Bread, rich with tradition, spiced with scandal, and layered as the loaves it produces. Stick around, because this is the one story you'll want to follow to the very last end. But before we continue, if you are into storytelling and eager to learn new things, then this channel is definitely for you. Make sure to like and subscribe for more captivating stories. It all began in 1958 when two visionary brothers, Ratilal and Subang Chand, opened a humble bakery. With no machines and just passion for baking, they manually pumped in air and traveled up country to sell their goods. In 1964, their younger brothers, Dalichand and Chunilal, joined the mission, followed by their youngest brother, Amichand, in 1979. Together, they transformed a small bakery into what we now know as Broadway's group of companies, home to Broadway Bakery, Bakex Millers Limited, Broadwalk Limited, UK Center Mall, and Abizia Down Estates Limited. Back then, when a loaf of bread costed just 40 cents, and delivery was done in cardboard boxes by a handful of vehicles, Ratilal and Subang Chand took a leap into what was then an uncertain industry. It wasn't easy, but their self-belief and relentless drive pushed them forward. In those early days, the bakery focused mainly on bread and scones, simple products that quickly won the hearts of many. After Kenya's independence in 1963, they expanded, bringing in a new deck oven from Mombasa and stretching their reach beyond Thika to regions like Kitui and Mwingi. By 1968, they began marketing another bread brand, Elliot's. For a while, it worked, but by the late 1970s, it became clear that Elliot's couldn't keep up with the Kenya's rising appetite for bread. That shortfall was more than just a logistical issue, it was a sign. Bread was no longer just food. It was becoming a staple, a symbol of change, and a fast-growing part of everyday Kenyan life. In 1972, Broadway's Bakery made a bold move that went beyond business expansion. It was about mastering a craft. They acquired Have More Bakery in Nairobi, not just to grow, but to learn the fine art of confectionery. That strategic move gave them a valuable edge insight into a new market segment that will prove priceless just a few years down the line. Once the lessons were learned, they passed the torch, selling Have More to Mr. Gulab Chand Shah in 1980. In 1977, Broadway saw a window of opportunity and grabbed it with both hands. They secured land from the local council in Thika's industrial zone, planting the roots for what will become the heart of their operations. What followed next was ambitious. Ratilal and Subang Chand, the visionaries behind the venture, flew all the way to Peterborough, UK to purchase their first high-capacity bread plant from Baker Perkins. The price tag was a hefty $300,000, financed through Barclays bank loan. By 1979, the plant was up and running, churning out up to 70,000 loaves a day, and the quality was so good that demand skyrocketed. In less than a year, the plant was operating 24 hours a day, more than doubling the output they had once delivered to Elliot's. With the move to the new Thika site, distribution exploded. Markets in Meru, Nyeri, and Embu began stocking Broadway's Bread, and they couldn't get enough of it. Riding the wave of success, the team didn't rest. In 1981, they went for round 2, a second plant from Spooner, also capable of producing 70,000 loaves daily. So Bang Chan traveled to UK to personally oversee the acquisition. The result, a baking empire in full bloom. With the Spooner plant came new frontiers. Nairobi and Machakos opened up, and Broadway's Bread became a staple across the region. Just when everything seemed to be running smoothly, disaster struck. In 1982, Kenya was hit by a crippling drought that caused a severe wheat shortage. For the bakery, which depended on wheat flour from suppliers like Unga Limited, Ken Wheat Industries, and United Millers, this was a major blow. Desperate to keep their ovens running, the family improvised, mixing maize flour with limited wheat flour they had. But then came another hurdle. Their main supplier, Unga, also the owners of the Elliott's brand, started slowing down deliveries, worry of the bakery becoming a competitor. Faced with dwindling supplies and uncertain partnerships, the family made a bold move. They secured a mailing license from the National Cereals and Produce Board of Kenya and decided to take matters into their own hands. In 1983, they imported a 150-ton per day Bala wheat mill all the way from Spain and installed 3 massive 1,000-ton silos to store raw wheat. And just like that, Bakex Miller was born, becoming the first private wheat mill in Kenya with its own storage silos. What started as a crisis turned into a game-changing moment of innovation and independence. In 1985, a major milestone was set. The company installed its first W&P bakery plant, an industrial beast capable of churning out 100,000 loaves a day. The investment was a staggering 3 million Deutschmarks. With that kind of firepower, the company was ready to rise and rise fast. Soon, freshly baked loaves were making their way to Nakuru, a town 160 kilometers from Nairobi, marking the first start of an ambitious expansion. But just as the aroma of success began to spread, so did the scent of resistance. The then President of the Republic of Kenya, Daniel Arap Moi, threw a wrench in the works. He issued a temporary order, which was, no bakery was allowed to supply outside its home county. The reason was that his family had a stake in the baking business in Kabarak, his hometown, just 50 kilometers from Nakuru. Suddenly, Broadway found itself locked in a battle, not just of bread, but of influence and power. But here's the twist. Public outcry was fierce. The pressure mounted. People were not ready to let politics mess with their daily bread. And in the end, the president's restriction crumbled like an overbaked loaf. Victory didn't come easy, but it sure tasted sweet. At a time when bread demand was rising rapidly, Bakex Millers didn't just keep up, they surged ahead. To meet the growing appetite, the company expanded its distribution network and installed 5 additional 1,000-ton silos, significantly boosting storage capacity. But innovation didn't stop there. In a game-changing move, Bakex ditched the traditional cardboard boxes, becoming the first bakery in Kenya to make the switch. This not only improved logistics, but also set a new industry standard. In 1992, nearly a decade after their first major investment, the company doubled down on growth. A second W&P plant was installed at a cost of approximately 2.5 million Deutschmarks, effectively doubling production capacity. Driven by Ratila's forward-thinking vision of diversification, the family boldly entered a new arena, manufacturing steel wool and nails. The year 2000 marked a turning point, a true passing of the torch. In a bold and unified move, the entire first generation of leadership of Broadway's Bakery stepped down, handing over the reins to the next generation. It was more than just a transition. It was a well-orchestrated succession that reflected trust, vision, and legacy. At the helm of this new era, Bimal, son of Sobang Chand, Hiten, son of Ratilal, and Bejul, son of Chunilal, a trio of ambitious, well-prepared successors who had already been immersed in the workings of the business. Their first major move was bringing a key part of production in-house. They installed a state-of-the-art works, coating and printing plant of the bread packaging, a nod to the company's iconic wax-coated wrappers, a signature since 1978. With fresh energy and a clear vision, the new leadership set out with their mission, which is to grow the core business steadily and explore new, relevant frontiers. Diversification was becoming the name of the game. Amidst rapid growth and new opportunities, Broadways Bakery made a bold move in 2003 by acquiring the UK Centre Mall in Nairobi, marking its entry to the commercial real estate space. The next decade was a powerful chapter of transformation focused on expansion, operational stability, and a complete upgrade of their accounting software systems. Financial charts at both Broadways Bakery and Buckex Millers pointed out a picture of success with upward trends that gave the entire group a reason to celebrate. But the biggest celebration came in 2012, a landmark year. Not only did the family mark 100 proud years in Thika, but they also launched a brand new bread line, Senator. More than just a tasty addition to Kenyan homes, Senator was a tribute to a close family friend, Mr. David Musila, who had just been elected Senator following Kenya's new constitution. A heartful note to legacy, leadership, and loyalty, Senator was baked with the purpose and pride. With a legacy rooted in tradition and excellence, Broadways Bakery was ready for transformation, ready to embrace fresh ideas and cutting-edge techniques. The next generation, Devan and Rohin, had just stepped into the family business, bringing with them a value of youthful energy and a vision. Even though they were only a year in, their impact was already turning heads. In the same groundbreaking year, Buckex Millers expanded its operation by installing 2 massive 4,000-ton silos, setting the stage for even greater production capacity. But what truly set this period apart was the boldness of the campaign that few in the industry had dared to take on. Enter #BigSugarSmart, a campaign launched by Devan and Rohin with a powerful message: it's time to rethink our relationship with the sugar. In a country where sweet bread had long been the norm, many were unaware of the health risk tied to high sugar consumption. Broadways Bakery, however, had always gone against the grain, using minimal sugar in its bread from the very beginning. This campaign wasn't just about marketing, it was about movement. It sparked conversations, educated communities, and established Broadways Bakery as a champion of healthy living. To amplify the message, the company began hosting free diabetes screening camps across the country, offering real value to the public. And to top it off, they partnered with the renowned Kenyan gospel artist DJ Mo as the face of the campaign. His influence brought authenticity, credibility, and massive reach. Together, those efforts didn't just raise awareness, they carved out a unique identity for Broadways, a bread rooted in quality, committed to health, and driven by a deeper purpose, creating a happier, healthier communities. In 2017, Broadways Bakery shook things up with the launch of an exciting new brand, Katika Tea. But they didn't stop there. They took innovation to the street with the rollout of the sleek, franchised kiosk under the name 727, operated by their subsidiaries, Broadwalk Limited. These vibrant mini stores, stocked with the fast-moving consumer goods, were not just about expanding reach, they were about taking charge. With 727, Broadway gained full control over the pricing and supply right at the customer's doorstep. Broadway's company has also faced controversies over the years. First is regulatory compliance. The Competition Authority of Kenya mandated that all bread manufacturers, including Broadways, must provide clear labeling on their products. This includes essential information such as manufacturing dates and expiry dates. Broadways faced challenges in complying with these regulations, which raised questions about their commitment and consumer safety. Another controversy is packaging practices. Unlike many competitors who have transitioned to plastic packaging, Broadways Bread has continued to use wax-coated papers. This choice has drawn criticism for being less environmentally friendly and potentially less hygienic, as the papers can absorb moisture and contaminants. Last controversy is legal issues. Broadways Bread has also faced legal challenges, such as the case of Broadways Bakeries Limited versus Phyllis Wakonyo Waweru in 2019, which highlighted issues related to product liability and consumers' rights. Such cases can further complicate the company's reputation and operational focus. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the